Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting video here on Conan Exiles Age of War. This will be episode 1 of a 3-part series where we're going to go through the basic sort of understandings of the different factions, or at least some of the different factions or tribes, if you want to call them that exist in Conan Exiles. These are the different NPCs or followers that you can get in the game. And they will range from fighters and archers, taskmasters you can also get in these factions as well, and your various crafters for all your different stations. And as I say, this will be episode 1, and in this one we're going to take a look at the THRALL, the Blackhand, the Dogs of the Desert, and we'll finish up with the Relic Hunter, not the Relic Hunter treasure seekers, but the sort of Relic Hunter fighters and archers that you can get specifically in and around Sepulchre, as they're sort of a next tier up from the first 3. And then in episode 2 we'll take a look at some more, which will be going further up north, and also including the Lemurians from the jungle. And then in the final episode I'll kind of culminate a group of the named people from each of these factions, and possibly even give a tip sort of if you want to use fighter 3s or archer 3s from any of these particular factions, which would be the best ones to use. So let's jump into the video right now. Okay then, so if we start off right at this very left hand side, when you first join the game there are some NPCs around, 1 or 2 little campfires that you will encounter that are known as exiles. They have really low health, but a lot of the other people that you will encounter, the first sort of tribe or tribes people that you will run into, are the THRALL. And the THRALL, if I just zoom out, you can pretty much find loads of them at the end of the river here at Skulker's End. This is a big main camp of theirs. There's also a camp just up here, and they're sort of all dotted around this area in various different camps as well, and around here all along the river. This side there's also a camp that crosses over the river here. You'll also find the THRALL, and there is their main headquarters, as I like to call it, here at the summoning place, which I'll show you later in this video, where you can find a lot of THRALL people in there, including the Cannibal brute, which comes in male and female. We'll take a look at them in a moment. But as you're wandering around these little camps, you'll run into fighters or archers. Of course they will be male and female, and they range from level 1, level 2 up to level 3. And in the summoning place, as I say, you can also get the Cannibal brute. So let's take a look. If we get ourselves a THRALL fighter 1, what do we get? They come with 0 in strength, 0 in agility, 0 in vitality, and a 2 in grit, which is armor. So that gives them a bonus of 4 to their armor, and they come with 240 health. So to be quite honest, very squishy. You could put them in some armor. I've just put them in the basic versions of this just to kind of show you how they may look when you find them. And that's the THRALL armor. So you can also craft this as well, but this is just a very basic version. So that is the fighter 1. Again, it can be a male or a female. And if we come up to our friend back here, we then progress up to a fighter 2, and again you can see all the same in the stats, apart from instead of 2 they now get a 3 in grit, so they get another point in grit, so it's a bit more armor. And they also get a smidge more health, so they go up to 264. That's what they start at. And then if we go to this young lady, which is our fighter 3, absolutely the same again. Only difference is they get a 7 in grit, so a bit more grit, and they come out with 288 health. So out of the basic fighters, the THRALL fighter 3, if you're staying on the river, is probably your best one. 1s and 2s you want to ignore. The archers are pretty much the same as well, just as these are. They come with nothing in all 3 and the same in grit. They're exactly the same, which is why I haven't put any down numbers wise, but they are exactly the same. If you manage to get through the mobs in the summoning place and you come across this guy or lady, if it is a lady, because it can come in male and female. And I have actually tried this out now just to see, and the one I have, she does have a decent amount of health. And at the moment, at the time of this video, they do have, the THRALL Cannibal has the highest damage modifier for melee damage. Now let's just bear in mind, I have heard quite a few people talk about this. This could be a bug, possibly, or this could be changed in Chapter 2 of Age of War. So although you might think the Cannibal Brute is great at the minute and better than Delincia or any of those because the damage modifier is higher, yes, they might hit harder, but bear in mind they're a lot weaker. So let's take a look at this guy. If he starts at level 0, he only has 429 health. Now, I think the one I've got has got to just over 1000 health at level 20, and she's in the full armour setup that I use for my thralls, that I always use on any of my fighters. I certainly won't be taking her sort of up north too far, or certainly up into the cold, because I think she will take too much damage in the higher areas, unless you are going to run him or her as a solo follower with the plus 20 and everything. They may be okay, they may survive a bit more, but they definitely need a good armour set for a bit more defence, certainly the health. Otherwise, if you're going to run them as part of a war party, I'd certainly run them with a Delincia or Leon or a Berserker, somebody that is another named person that is higher tiered at least, just to kind of take a bit of the grief off them, because I think these will take a lot more damage, a lot more easier in war party. So that is the Cannibal Brute, and as I say, you can get them in the summoning place, which we'll visit later on in this video. There's a chance for them to spawn in there. So that is the THRALL. So now, if we move up our map slightly more to sort of around this area and all around this part of the map, including this area here, the Black Galleon, and also over in Buccaneer Bay where you've got the Blackhand pirates all around here, we will encounter the Blackhand, and they'll be wearing similar armour to this, as you can see. So if we take a look at our Blackhand Fighter 1, we can notice a difference straight away. They come with a 3 in agility and nothing in grit, vitality or strength, but they do have 540 base health as a level 1, as opposed to the THRALL that only has 240. So already, even in level 1, we've got a health jump. Carry on again. We've got our Blackhand Fighter 2. Now he jumps up to a 7 in agility, nothing in anything else once again, but he goes up to 594, so again, higher health than the THRALL. And our number 3, they jump up to a massive 15 in agility and 725 health, as opposed to a very low 280. So that is your Blackhand Fighter 3. They have a lot more health, as you can see, but they still don't have the other bonuses in the other attributes, which are a lot better for them. The only difference with this one is they come with 1 in vitality extra and 1 in grit, which just gives them a very, very small minority boost in everything else. So possibly a good one, but still a little bit not too sure. And then we also have the named Blackhand Fighter, who has 1 in strength, 30 in agility, 3 in vitality, 2 in grit, and he comes with 1089 health. So he's another one that is a possible named person to keep an eye out for. So that is the Blackhand. Then as we wander higher up into this area again, so our main part of the desert all around here and around this area where the den is, for example, up here, kind of all mixed around here again, we find another faction which are known as Dogs of the Desert, and they'll be wearing this armour, or can be seen wearing this armour, which is the hyena fur armour, which is a medium. And if we take our level 1 guy, 0 in strength, 3 in agility, 0 in vitality, 2 in grit, and he comes out with 770 health. So again, even more than these, we've still got a nice decent jump. Our level 2, 845 health, which again is another jump up from the 500 plus health. And then our Dogs of the Desert 3, who has the massive 15 in agility, nothing in strength, 0 in vitality, and a 7 in grit. And they have 920 health. Still not brilliant, but a little bit better, whereas this one seems to have less. So you've got higher health than Defari once again, still almost at 1000 base health on the Fighter 3. And of course, even with these guys, you then find this male or female, which is called a Claw of Jabal Sag, and they have 0 strength, 30 agility, 0 vitality, 15 in grit, and they come with 1028 health now. These come in male and female, and typically the Claw of Jabal Sag, which are named fighters, you will find all around in here, which is the den. I think it's here, I'm sure it's up here. The den. All around this area you have a chance of finding these. I have had these in the past, pretty decent fighters. Obviously they start with agility, so rather than trying to build their strength, I would either maybe try them with daggers, or if not daggers, give them a katana maybe. They should be pretty good with that. And put them in some decent agility boosting armour like Stygian Soldier, which is a heavy armour. So that would give them some good protection, and it would also boost their agility. So that is our third faction we'd encounter, and then our final one in this video is the fighters, and you can get archers as well, that also come from the Relic Hunter faction, not the Relic Hunter treasure seekers. These are a bit different, and these are all typically found in and around this area all here, which is Seppenru or Seppenru City of the Relic Hunter. And these will typically be wearing, as you can see, this young lady model in here, the Relic Hunter armour, and that's the head wrap that they wear. Typically you can find them like this without it as well. And as you can see, 1, 2 and 3, again these can be archers just the same. And if we take a look at her, she comes with 0 in strength, 3 in agility, 0 vitality, 2 in grit, but they come out with 840 health. And then these have the 770, so again a level 1 Relic Hunter is going to give you the best health out of all 4 of these. The level 2, same stats again, just a slight increase in the agility, and he comes with 924 as opposed to 845. And then our Fighter 3 has a huge 12 in agility, 0 strength, 5 in vitality and 3 in grit. So it seems to be with any of these, and 1552 health, any of the factions that have a Fighter 3, from what we can see here, certainly seem to have a better boost to most stats. So they still get the agility boost, but they seem to also get a few points in vitality and in grit. So if you're looking for a decent Fighter 3 to start you off in the game, by all means try out a Defari, get a Cannibal. If you can get a Cannibal Brute, they're even better. If you can only manage to get a Defari 3 at first while you're in and around New River, then as you work your way up the map, you could maybe look at a Blackhand, or even the Dogs of the Desert, which are all over on at the den as well, or maybe a Claw of Jabal Sag if you're able to knock one of them out. And then once you get to Seppenru, to your beginning to mid game, you want to take a look at the Relic Hunter Fighter 3s. So that's a quick overview of 4 of the early, or 3 certainly, of the early factions or tribes that you'll run into around the map. and then including a fourth, which is the Relic Hunters, not the Relic Hunter Treasure Seeker, which are to be confused with because they are actually slightly different. You will find different sort of Stygian, Shammai, all different named sort of fighters and archers wandering around Seppa Maru. The Relic Hunter Treasure Seekers, which is this young lady behind me here, I'll class these as your named fighter for this faction, because they too can also be found in Seppa Maru, inside the wine cellar dungeon, and also at a few different locations around the unnamed city, sort of around here and in this top area, and also there are odd ones knocking around in different locations where you'll find a couple of fighters and archer with also a named boss, mini boss, or one skull mini boss that is not thrallable, so you can only kill the mini boss, but the Relic Hunters that are with them, you can certainly knock them out and make them your friends. And even though the Relic Hunters took a hefty nerf, just as everybody else did in the recent update for the Age of War, yes, they're probably not as awesome as they used to be now, but I've got a couple on this server geared up properly. If you give them the right equipment, give them the right weapon, give them the right buffs and healing, they're still okay. They're still your best step up until you can get yourself a Sumerian Berserker or a Delincia. Personally, I'd try and get yourself up to Relic Hunter, or certainly a Fighter 3 in the Relic Hunter faction to help you get maybe a Delincia possibly, or a Berserker, or maybe Leon. Because if we take a look at our Relic Hunter Treasure Seeker here, as you can see, massive 20 in agility, 10 in vitality and 15 in grit, and they come out of the box or off the wheel, if you want to call it that, with 1763 health. Varying percentages on levelling up for all the different levels, but a good all-round thrall to get. And again, at the end of this video I'll show you where the wine cellar is and how to get them, and these do come in male and female as well. Right, so here we are outside this summoning place. These guys are not attacking obviously because I am cloaked and in god mode for this video, but we are just here on the map, as you can see, at the summoning place, which is in where are we? G5, more or less. And in here there are a couple of recipe books you can learn. There are also a couple of sorcerers in here. There is also a spawn for a Yogg priest, and also that spawn is also shared with the witch doctor. Is it witch doctor? I think they're called. I've forgotten the name. The name slipped my mind. I'll put it on the video on the screen during editing. But you can get them, the named alchemist, to put on your alchemist bench. So again, it's a mixture of people here, as you can see, male and female, all different levels. You will have to fight all of these. Be very, very careful at early game, because it's easy to get overwhelmed by a lot of these, even though they are only very, very squishy. They can overwhelm you quite easily. I've run in here with a low level thrall before now and just been absolutely annihilated, believe it or not. So try and take them out very tactically if you can. As you first come in, there will be a book here, so you can click on that one and learn that one. You'll have all these to contend with, and then you can either go left or right. More people here, as you can see. There are crafters in here from the Defari faction as well. So then if we come around here, a couple there, come up these stairs, and you have a dancer there at the moment, which that can also be a named Defari dancer called Luba the Luscious. She can spawn in here. She can also spawn at Seppa Maru as well. And we have another specialist book on the floor we can learn there. So that's that one. And just check around whenever you come up here, because you may find sorcerer there. Not just these chests, but there isn't actually one here at the moment. A little black box, maybe one on the other side, that you can collect, that will either give you a fragment of power sometimes, or teach you a language or something like that. Well, there doesn't seem to be one on this side, so that's this side. Then if we run around here, this is where the Yogg Priest can spawn. And there we are, Yogg Priest. And also the tier 4 named Alchemist that was on about, you can get them from here as well, so it shares a spawn with them. I think, did I miss a little book somewhere? I'm sure there's another book. Oh yeah, just here. Book there that you can learn. And again, cross over this side, as you can see the sorcerer is still here. So they're still here if you have to spell pages or fail pages. Then more people again, then we want to go up this side because then up here is your sorcerer spawn, another one, and then your spawn, this is a Defari fight one in a minute, but your Cannibal Brute can spawn here. So that can be your spawn for the Cannibal Brute once again. Just checking I've not missed any books or anything around here. So again, check up the back, because these little black boxes, as I say, there we go, there's one. If you collect that, you can pick that up in your inventory and it will give you various different things. That's a language, so we're going to learn that. And of course you've got a couple of chests to learn, and you can also interact with this to learn those totems. And you've got another chest of loot there. So yeah, this guy that we ran past, we've got this guy here. So that is pretty much the summoning place. A little bit dangerous early on, but if you come with the right armour and a decent follower to help you, you shouldn't have any trouble getting your named people from here. But do it stage by stage, like I say, clear all these out, then go up to the next bit. Typically I tend to go to the right, clear out those sorcerers, then clear out this top bit, then try and gradually tank those people over from the Yogg pit, knock everybody out, probably the easiest way to do it. And then if you've got your priest or your alchemist that you're after, then you're definitely onto a winner with that one. There are some Defari just across there as well, where there are some ostriches and nests that you can also get eggs from. They're more of the Defari faction once again, but that is the Defari and that is their main Defari headquarters. Right, just to excuse the flying a moment, I'm just flying over this just so you can appreciate the sheer size of the area, but there is a huge camp with tents just down here. Ignore the teleporter there, that's part of our transportery, well not that much, but we've got one like this as well. That's actually a sorcerer that's there. We've got a teleporter just across the other side, just there, that people can actually use that play on our server to get them over to the Black Galleon, otherwise it's a bit of a walk. But as you can see, there's another teleporter stone there with sorcerers and various fighters and crafters around again, and there's a sorcerer just here. And if we kind of wander around a little bit, we can see various different people, and these of course are the Blackhand. All different names again, like Crushite, Shamite, all the different ones, and of course Blackhand crafters. And as you saw at the beginning, that's the armour that they'll be wearing. So these are the Blackhand faction, and these can be found all around here again, and in this area, in a camp just here. And then here where we are now, which is the Black Galleon, and then the Blackhand pirates, as I said earlier, that can be found all around there in Buccaneer Bay. This area is definitely an area where you want to come, where you are well equipped and your follower or followers are certainly well equipped with decent armour, because to be honest it'll make life a lot easier, because these guys will try and swarm you, especially if you go up onto the ship here. These guys will absolutely swarm you. If you're stood here, you'll end up with loads of them coming at you. They'll come from up there, they'll come from down there, and you'll just get overwhelmed. And if you accidentally happen to backflip or roll and go off the edge there, you'll end up dead, and then leave your followers behind and potentially end up getting them killed. So yeah, you just want to be really, really careful. When you come up here, you can learn this again to learn the Blackhand banners. There are lots of good people on here again, good crafters that you can potentially get, all the different tiers once again. There's also a couple of bearer spawns on here. And if we look all around, as we can see, more people down there. If I just jump down here a minute, there's a book here. As you can see, that's the name of what that teaches you on the right there. I'm not going to say it in the video, but you can clearly see there on the right what it's called, and you saw the ghost do the image there. That's a emote that you can learn. And then there's people back here. I'll go into first person again. Keep an eye out now down here, because you can also get the Taketo cat idol statues from in here. That you can pick up and carry back to your base for your treasure room. They can spawn in here as well. Doesn't appear that one has at the moment, but they can do. Various different people in here, as I say. And then if we go across here, just keep an eye out all around. I'll do a separate video one time if you guys would like me to kind of do a walk around of the Black Galleon and have a proper look at who's on here and talk about what you can get and if they're worth getting or not. I'll do that in a separate video. But you get the gist of here. This is one of the main areas that you can get Blackhand fighters and crafters from. As you approach, again, another couple of areas down here for bearers to spawn. So that is the Blackhand. Okay then, so here we are at our next location, and this is where it gets a little bit more tricky and a bit more dangerous now. We're up here at the den, which is just below the highlands, as you can see, just north of the unnamed city. And all around this area and all around here where we are in the den, you can get the dogs of the desert, and that also includes, as we mentioned, the Claw Jabal Sag. And there's various entrances into this area. You'll have archers to contend with, you'll have fighters to deal with. Take a look at some of these guys here, see what we've got. Again, I'll do another video of walk around of this area if that would be easier for people. Don't want to spend too much time in these areas to go into too much detail, because it's a lot to cover and it can be too much for one video. But this is various spawns where different people can spawn. Got a bearer one down there catching some sun. But this is another big area. You've also got some of the were hyenas, I believe they're called. Down here you've got this boss guy in the mid. This is a boss in the middle here. If I just turn my... oh yeah, I've got name tags on. Didn't think I had name tags on. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes this is a boss that's stood here. Not usually a regular one, unless he's over here. Unless they've changed it, one of these used to be a boss. Unless he's moved. But then if you go up these steps here, again, you can run past... where is it? Have I run past it? Or have I gone up the wrong steps? Yeah, there's the ghost. As you can see, that's another dance that you can learn, and that is the belly dance, usually by just standing in front of the ghost. If you can't see a book around anywhere, you will learn that emote, and that is the belly dance. And we can, of course, from here get the Jabal Sag priest, again male and female. They can spawn here, and then a couple of other people here, and one behind, as you can see there. Well, that is where we get the dogs of the desert from. And then finally, our final location in this one is Sepamaru, City of the Relic Hunter, which is all around this area. 99% of this area is what we call passive, so it's totally friendly. Even if I wasn't cloaked or in god mode now, none of these guys would attack me unless I attack them. This is a great area for getting fighters and archers from, especially a couple of named archers that spawn here, a couple of females. And it's absolutely brilliant for getting your crafters, especially your named ones, because there are a couple of great blacksmith spawns and also a brilliant guaranteed armor spawn up the top there. I do have a separate video on Sepamaru doing a walk around. I'll link it at the end of this video, It's an updated version of a previous guide to Sephiroth that I did. So do feel free once you've watched this video to go check that one out. Also give it a like and leave any comments if you did enjoy it. So yeah, this is Sephiroth, and as I say, various fighters and archers once again, some that wander, and also your stationary ones, and the wandering one there, and as I say, various spawns for different crafters, and all the different gateways you'll find a mixture of archers and fighters again, from tier 1 to 3, and the different classes, so Hyborian, Shamite, Stygian, all the different ones, including 2 named female archers that also spawn here. Like I said, the Sephiroth video, if you check that one out, that will give you the best idea of what's in here. Again, it's too big an area to cover in this video, but then for our final bit, if we hop in this door here, other than the unnamed city, the other easiest place to get Relic Hunter treasure seekers is in here. And if we ignore that guy there, that's Seth the Drunk, and if you kill him, he has a chance of dropping his truncheon for you. And let me just up my gamma a minute slightly. Might not be very bright still, so apologies if it's very dark on YouTube in here. But there are 2 spawns again just here for Relic Hunter treasure seekers. This typically is an archer. There you go, the wine cellar. This is typically a fighter and an archer. It can sometimes be 2 fighters. If you get 2 fighters with that spear, it's a nightmare. As Angar, another great YouTuber, he'll tell you what a nightmare it is also. But yeah, you can get those in here. And also, apologies as I say for the light, I know it's not great in here, it is a dungeon, so it is unfortunately quite dark. But if I just quickly run down here, once you've dealt with them, either befriended them or killed them, there is another couple here, or 3 actually, so 3 here, 1 down here, and there's also another couple there with a mini boss that you'll have to kill, but there's another couple there usually. And just at the end of the bridge there where you carry into the dungeon, there's also another couple once again that are Relic Hunters, or Relic Hunter treasure seekers. Well, alright then guys, that is just about going to cover it for this video. Hopefully we've gone into enough detail, especially for new players. I know a lot of veteran players will know a lot more about these thralls than some people. There's still quite a lot to know about them. There's so much detail it could go into with it all. But especially I hope this was helpful for new players, so you got a bit of an understanding of why it's wise to go for the higher tiered thralls, like certainly level 2s, definitely level 3s, and try and work your way up to Relic Hunter treasure seekers before you then look at your endgame thralls like your berserkers and your Delincias and your Leons or whoever you use, or your votaries. We'll take a look at some of those in the next video of course. So if you did find this helpful, if you found it interesting, do me a huge favour, smash that like button. Let's try and get at least 50 likes on this video if we can. Really shows me your support and how much you appreciate this type of content. Leave your comments down below, leave your questions down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and until I see you in episode 2 guys, we shall say goodbye. Alright my friends, bye bye for now.